Money Mondays with Jeff. We got a Eclipse edition. That means that we're gonna drop some knowledge for you like it's never been dropped. So this only kind of knowledge come around maybe once every 20, 30 years that you get an esteemed money expert on the line. Money Mondays, where we talk to dope financial professionals and business owners on wealth building strategies to close the wealth gap here in America. I'm Jeff, the wealth builder, financial advisor, strategist, cash value life insurance enthusiast. And each and every Monday, we interview a dope financial professional and we get their insights and we get their strategies on what they're doing and what they're using to build their wealth and what they're sharing that they where we can be able to close the wealth gap here in America. And today I have the money expert here, Mr. Carl Agard. He's going to break some things down, especially in this real estate arena and business ownership, and give you some tools and give you some tips that you can use to elevate your wealth and help your money reach its full potential. Good evening, sir. How are you doing today?
All right, what's going on, Jeff? Thanks for having me on the show.
Man, it's been a good day. Like, did you check out the eclipse today? Did you put your little glasses on and look at the star and the moon? You know, covering the sun, covering the moon.
Nah, I went outside, but it wasn't like it was 7 years ago. It got dark out here. I'm in Atlanta now, so you had to go out to the mountains to go see it pretty good. But I was too
Okay.
busy trying to get some loans closed to deal with it.
Oh, you too busy to getting that money to go ahead and look and see what the eclipse was doing, huh?
Yeah, it's too much going on, man. Trying to get loans closed, mortgages closed, people in houses, people out of houses. Sometimes I can't even get into the debate. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, stuff like that. So I got to stay focused on getting to the money. That's all it is.
I know that's right, because it ain't no fun if you ain't got no money.
There you go.
At least
Right,
that's what
right.
that's what the old folks always say.
And you
So
gotta
so so
gotta work 10 times harder now to get half the money. So you gotta work at it, folks.
no, that's right.
But
If you
I
don't
feel
work
some
it,
shortcuts to get to it a lot quicker.
all right, that's what's up. That's what you here for. So can you share to us what inspired you? I mean, you heavy into real estate, you're heavy into mortgage loan and originations, you heavy into, building money and surviving. Look at you got books out that you survive
Seven.
from COVID-19. And you're a real money haven. You're a real, I like the old heads call you, you're a real hustler. So we're gonna talk about this real estate and we're gonna talk about loan origination and we're gonna talk about some tactics that you've been using and that's been successful in your approach. But what I want to find out is that I know that you got started in investing in 1995, right? When you purchased your first brownstone, and that kind of helped propel you into this market arena. Could you just like tell us a little bit about what that process was like, and tell us a little bit about you know what was the big aha moment for you in 1995 that made you realize that real estate was going to be a cornerstone for you to build some wealth?
Yeah, it was kind of crazy because when you go to college, come out and say I want to be a real estate broker, or when you're growing up as a little kid, you always say you want to be a doctor or fireman, but not a real estate investor. So what happened was, Jeff, like you, I'm a noob also. Shameless plug. Cap
Shameless
outside.
plug.
Syracuse. So when I graduated out of Syracuse, my line brother and roommate went to St. John's University for law school. So then I remember at the time we were all out trying to figure out ways of getting money. We was doing some stocks, investing in some stocks. We had some guys that worked on Wall Street. I was doing party promotion. So I had a couple of friends that was comedians. So I would promote their shows. And then I had worked for a nonprofit at the time in Brooklyn. So right now I'm in Atlanta, but I've been between New York, Brooklyn, born and raised for about 20 years, back and forth. But back then in the mid 90s, my line brother came back from St. John's University. That's where he was going to law school after we graduated Syracuse. He got excited about the law and the real estate part. He was like, yo, this is how these people making money out here. It's this real estate game. He said, that's where it is. Stop everything. We got to learn about this real estate game. So I had went from the nonprofit I was working with to corporate America, and I was making some good money as a salesman. I was like the hired gun for the sales company doing HMOs, a home health insurance company. So I'm making good money. I got good credit. I was a test dummy where they was using me to buy the houses, and we was trying and failing because we didn't know about real estate. We didn't have any family members that own properties. Nobody was really trying to mentor us, and we're like 25 years old at the time. So then got lucky. Well, I would say lucky because a lot of times it's the right place at the right time. Where you gotta basically see an opportunity and jump on it. So I wouldn't say fully luck, because a lot of people run across stuff and they just bypass them. So we had an old Jewish guy own a bunch of properties. He's going back to Israel. He said, "Hey, if y'all buy my properties, I'll give it to you for no money down, give you some money back at the closing. Y'all just gotta figure out how to close." So I'm the only one that had a good job and good credit. So then I went and bought the properties. I got all three of them, got 10,000 back at closing for each property, and it was in downtown Brooklyn, good areas of Brooklyn, right? At the time, they was about 100,000, so you're never gonna get that again. There was no more than 120. Interest rate was high because I did a hard money loan, so the loan was about 12%. But I got my foot in there. I got the properties, used my money back at the closing to renovate the houses, put some tenants in there. So then a year later, I get laid off my job at the health
Wow.
insurance company, but they gave me a good severance package. But now I'm sitting on three properties that doubled in value, just like that. So then, since I had a hard money loan, I refinanced them from 12% to 8%, which was the rate at that time. So now I'm jumping
Okay.
out 1998 because my first
Okay.
house 95, 96. So now I done got houses with about 100,000 equity each. So I pull out some money out the properties. I took my severance. In the meantime, when I had the properties, I had my real estate agent license
Okay.
because I was renting out my own houses. Because
Okay.
sometimes, yo, this is the way to go real estate. Everyone's gonna need a house. Everyone's gonna need an apartment. Everyone's gonna need someone to rent. Being in our frat, I knew a lot of Kappas. Then I know Deltas. I know AKAs. I'm a party promoter. I had tons of people at my disposal. And I never forget, I tried to refer people to a couple of other real estate agents, but they was cutting me behind my back. And I told them, I said, "Listen, man, I'm gonna go get the license to put y'all out of business. I ain't gonna be an agent. I'm gonna be a broker. So I'm gonna be above y'all." And that's exactly what I did. I became a broker. Independent. I was the youngest black independent broker in Brooklyn at that time. But now I'm 27
Wow.
years old. So I never went through Remax, Century 21, nothing. Basically, my lawyers was holding my license as an agent. I just learned the deals myself. I learned financing. I learned title work. I learned legalities. I learned how to market, promote, get clients, everything. So then when I opened up my office, somebody retired, sold me the multiple listing system, which was a lot to buy back then because you got to buy stock. So I bought that at half price, and I was in the
Okay.
game immediately.
So wait a minute. Let me understand something real quick. At 27, you became a independent real estate broker in Brooklyn.
Yep, in Brooklyn.
So talk a little bit about that. What kind of like challenges did you face like at 27, being a broker, because being a broker is a real big deal. I mean, there's a lot of responsibilities, a lot of rules that's involved in that. So talk a little bit about some of the challenges that you had to overcome in that endeavor. Did you hear me, Carl? You there?
Yeah, it was rough. So October 98 was when I launched my company. So I was the independent real estate broker. I'm black. I didn't go through Century 21, Remax, nothing like that, Fillmore. So they were like, well, who is this guy? And now I'm 27 years old, look like I'm 19. So that really was pissing off a lot of people because my competitors was the Jewish companies and then the older West Indian companies. They had it on
Okay.
lock. Haitian guys had their companies, Jamaican guys had their companies, you had the franchises, the Jewish companies, and then you got me. So the people didn't like it at first, so they threw me a lot of roadblocks. Like, well, who are you? I never forget going to my first closings. If I'm gonna get 15,000, all of a sudden the commission was $12,000. The closing attorney and title companies will hold money in escrow. They try to break me. I ain't gonna lie to you. They try to break me as an agent. Then they tried to break me as a broker to see, was I going to be strong enough to last? What helped me out was Brooklyn, the way it is very cliquish. Even though it's millions of people, it's very cliquish. So I'm from Crown Heights. I'm from the projects of Crown Heights. Already a good story because I left the craziest projects with the most crime, go to Syracuse on a scholarship, and came back to the hood and worked in the local community organizations in the churches. So I was helping, mentor kids to go to college, getting people out to vote. I worked with the local politicians. So they backed me when I became a broker.
Good for
So
you.
all of the nonprofits in Bedford-Stuyvesant, Crown Heights, and Clinton Hills, all of the churches, and then the politicians, they said, hey, he's us. He's from our neighborhood. He came back. He had to come back from upstate New York and come back to the projects. And even though he got his own place, he still is giving jobs to people in the community. So with that being said, they made announcements in the area in 1998 to 99. If you got to sell a house or buy a house, you got to go through him. They sponsored my seminars. So I got the local Congress people, state senators, city council people sponsoring my seminars. So that's just the way it is with Brooklyn. It's cliquish. So everything got to go through the nonprofits and the community-based organizations. So that's what got me in. So I leveraged that. So when I go to the lenders, I go to the Jewish organizations and everybody else, like, hey, if you want to do anything in this area, Bedford-Stuyvesant, Crown Heights, or Clinton Hill, since y'all give me a hard time, I'm circling the wagons. Now you got to come through me. And nothing going to happen unless you're going to come through me. And they say, yeah, right, whatever, whatever. And sure enough, every time they try to do something, the politicians shut it down. They said, nah, you got to go through him. Why? He's us. We raised him from 13 years old. He came back. And we're supporting anything this guy does. Even when he worked at corporate America, he made sure they donated to us, whether it's our community-based organization or churches. So everyone got to go through him. And so then after a year, they had to respect me. And I knew my shit, basically. So when I got to the closings, I knew title work, I knew banking, I knew everything that everyone knew at that table. So anything popped up, I'm solving all the problems right then and there. And also I had my niche. I always tell people, when you start a business, you got to have your niche. And you got to control your niche. Your niche is what's going to get you rich. So my niche is not only just in the area of Bed-Stuy, Crown Heights for houses and product. Now my buyers are young Black professionals, alphas, the deltas, the zetas, sigmas, the nukes. I had them on lock because I know them from upstate New York. I was a party promoter. I did step shows. So all these people now coming of age to buy houses, guess who they're gonna go through? They're gonna go through me. So then the last thing on that, I leverage a lender to give me $1 million line of credit to buy and sell houses. And then I leverage another lender to give me a mortgage broker license. So then I could do my mortgages in house.
Wow,
And
that's interesting.
I'm still not 30 years old yet.
That's interesting because I had a similar situation in 2007, the end of 2006, the beginning of 2007, where I had a relationship with a mortgage company and went out on my own, and they extended a line of credit to finance and do loans, kind of similar to what you was doing. But the only thing that happened with me was I woke up one morning and Morgan Stanley closed. Not Morgan Stanley. Oh
JP
gosh, I
Morgan,
just had a brain freeze. No, the bank closed in
Bear
2000.
Stearns.
Bear Stone, no, Bear Stone's closed, but one of the big mortgage players closed down in 2007, and
Oh yeah,
it, it
that in
it crippled me. It crippled
yeah,
me. I had
yeah.
invested all this money. I had invested all this money into this mortgage brokerage. I mean, I was six figures in outfitting this company. Got the office, had a nice location down in South Jersey, in Malta, New Jersey, and everything was going to plan. Had the eyes on buying a title company, and I was full fledged on doing that. And then I got blindsided and just lost my appetite for the mortgage business. But that was some trying times I wouldn't wish on anyone. But
Yeah.
that is always something good. Like I tell people all the time, it's always something good and everything that happens bad. You just got to find the good. Because the good thing that happened to me during that occasion, where I lost money in real estate, I lost money in my businesses that I own, I lost money in the mortgage company that I just started. I mean, I got hit like body blow, body blow, body blow. They was about to knock me out, right? But
Right.
the one thing that I made money in, which was my great discovery, was in my life insurance contract. Like
Mm.
everything else went down, but the cash value in my life insurance contract went up. And I
Wow.
was like, well, wait a minute. How could the economy be tanking? And how could I'm losing money in everything that I got money in right now that has some investments in it? But the thing that I made money in is this thing called life insurance. That
Mm.
was when the light bulb for me went off. So that was
Right.
the good thing that came out of 2007 for me, is that I got reintroduced, I got re-indoctrinated, and got a passion for this life insurance to help people kind of financially win with it, because it was the only product that at the worst time, and one of the worst times in American history, it performed and made money. Thus, I made money. So I want to
Wow.
circle back to what we were talking about, because this ain't about me. This is about you, right? And you was talking about, how did you, as a young broker, how did you navigate when 2007 in a real estate market crash? How did your business, how was your business affected? And what were some of the things that you did to kind of get over the hump and kind of, make sure that you will be able to survive the mortgage and the real estate business at that time?
Yeah, and that was a good segue, because when you brought up your situation, I was like, man, I gotta talk about that next, because of course you got the rise, the fall, and the rise again. It's like an episode of Unsung. Because now,
You got that right.
right, so now let's go to 2007, right? So now I'm good 10 years in the game now, and I
Okay.
mean I'm rolling. I'm just printing money during that time frame. So you
Oh,
figure now.
that was some fun times, boy. I tell you.
Yeah. So let me tell you, like leading up to that. So now 99, 2000, everything rolling. We're flipping brownstones, we're rehabbing them, we're selling them. I got my mortgage company, I got a line of credit to buy houses. I got the demographic on lock of the young professionals. Now I'm dealing with correction officers, teachers, Wall Street people, people in the music industry. So then I'm visiting people in Atlanta. Some of the nukes I played from Syracuse, they go to Freak, they can never come back. So which is real funny about that Hulu documentary. I literally seen that. So, I would come
Yeah,
down.
but the Hulu documentary was nothing like the real Freaknik.
Right,
but
right. But
but we're gonna let you finish your story.
yeah, but I could attest to that, because I'm coming down, visiting folks, they never coming back. They say, hey, everyone from New York and New Jersey is moving to Atlanta. You get a bigger home. They got great jobs. At the time, it was cheaper. So they said, if you got a license in New York, they give you a Georgia license called reciprocity. So now I'm getting married at the time. My wife at the time, we're divorced, but it's all good. She's from Texas. I'm from Brooklyn. Atlanta was the middle ground. We said, okay, let's set up shop in Atlanta. They gave me a license. I kept my offices in New York, but I wanted to tap into the hype of Atlanta at that time. And it was perfect timing. That's why I said not only luck, it's timing. So now we're in 2001. Open up an office in Buckhead. I met a new from St. Louis. He put me on the new from Morehouse. People showed me around Atlanta. It's a totally different market from New York. So I took about 6 months to learn Atlanta. I sold a lot of my houses. Came down here 6 figures deep to open up the right way, flip some houses, open up an office, learn the lay of the land, know the who's who of Atlanta, everything like that. Very cliquish, when I first got here, right? So
Has
everything
anything
was,
changed?
huh?
Has anything changed in Atlanta now?
Oh, we're gonna get there in a minute.
Okay.
Big time change. But uh get out here, 9/11 hit. So now everyone is leaving New York to come out here. And guess who they're going through? They're going through me. So now we're doing seminars for the next 5 to 6 years in my office in Brooklyn. And like, you could own this home with 6 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms for only $200,000, brand new. So I'm leveraging my connections in New York to the builders in Atlanta. So now they're paying for my advertising. They're giving me inventory. I'm doing new homes. I got whole subdivisions I'm selling, right? So now this is like from '01 all the way up to '07. So I'm talking about I'm selling 20, 30 houses a month. And I still got
Mm.
myself in New York. So we're just printing money. Now, and also because I'm doing mortgages, I'm refinancing everybody's houses because the rates are going down. So rates going down from 8 to 7 to 6 to 4. So every time it go down, we go back and refinance everybody's houses from the year before. So now I'm now about to build my own subdivision. So I buy some land in Union City. I clear all the trees. I put on the infrastructure. I put in the lights. I put in the piping. I put everything in. And I'm like, okay, cool, I'm gonna sell 20 townhomes, make me over $1 million. And everything was all good. Because in July of 2007, that's what we called it D-Day, right? We say that's the day
Yeah.
everything died. So I'm already selling for all these other builders. I sold 20 townhomes in 1 month for a builder, right? I got my land that I'm developing. I ain't sell another house. I sold one house for the rest of the year because that was when the market crashed. It hurt us first in '07, and then in '08, that's when it hit like the general stock market, right? And then, like you said, Bear Stearns and not J.P. Morgan, but a lot of them went out of business. All the mortgage
Or the
companies
big
shut.
one, the big one too, Countrywide. That hurt me. That hurt me a lot too, because I had a
Yep,
big relationship with Countrywide.
Washington Mutual,
Washington, yeah,
yeah, I said it with all of them. So they all will fax us. We are out of business, and we got loans with these people. You know,
yeah,
so now I'm shitting bricks. I ain't lying to you. I'm like, oh damn, I got 3 offices now. I got all this staff. I got 30 real estate agents working for me. And you're like, hey, this is gonna work itself out. I've been through some ups and downs, and it just never came around. So I never forget. Come mid 2008, everyone done burned through their cash, because you got your subdivisions, you got your offices, you got your staff, you're laying people off. We going to Clark and Washington, we filing bankruptcies, we giving them cars and Benzes and mini mansions, so you can laugh at it now. So you just basically shut down shop. So I mean, I had some properties I own outright, so that's what saved me. So I had my spot in Brooklyn that I kept. You know what I'm saying? I had it free and clear, downsized, laid off people, sold some of my companies off for pennies on the dollar. One
mm.
company, my real estate company, I started the one in 1998. I could have sold for $250,000 in 2006. And by the time I sold in 2008, I got about $25,000 in a 6 pack of Heineken's.
And the crazy thing is, a lot of people think that those days can never happen again. A lot of people one of the things about Americans have such short memories that
Mm.
they don't believe, like, oh my God, 2007 never happened. You talk to some of these young real estate investors, they look at you like you got three heads when you start telling them the stories about what happened in 2007 and how they need to position themselves and how they need to make sure that they got proper protections in their portfolio so they
Right.
don't get wiped out like a lot of us got wiped out because
Yeah.
nobody gave us any information about how to build it and protect it and organize it and how to structure it in your LLCs. There was none of that stuff around. You didn't
At
have
that
none of this.
at that time was no YouTube, no
No YouTube,
TikTok,
no
no
TikTok, this
information.
stuff.
And two things that you said, right? It's the same thing even recently with the pandemic. People was getting a lot of money during the pandemic. They was investing on crypto. They was buying cars and vacationing and going to Tulum and riding elephants and all that. And I was telling them, hey, you gotta prepare for when it crashes. Nah, da, 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 da. I said, I've been through that. And I said, I'm looking good now, but believe me, I was sucking wind in 2009. Talking about, yo, I went from driving 3 cars to goddamn walking, you know?
Yeah,
Had to rebuild and rebrand. But, no one was there to tell you, hey, do this, do that to protect yourself because we're first generation of all of this. You know what I'm saying?
that's right.
Everyone else in my circle was learning from me because I was the first one in the game. They're learning from me. I had no one show me nothing. So when the market crashed, I got exposed. You know what I mean? And I could have been worse. But I said, well, thank God that I had money to the side. I rebranded quickly. and stuff like that. But then you try to tell people now, don't do this and the third, they don't listen. And then, they looking at you like, oh, well, you don't got 1 million followers on Instagram. Why would I listen to you? No, I got experience. So then
That's
now,
right.
we'll get to that later. Now I got people that got hurt by the COVID crash, the inflation, whatever. Now they coming to me, listening to me because of the experience that I got from surviving the real estate market crash. And I tell you, I survived just the real estate market crash. I also survived 9/11. That was a crash, the dot-com bubble. People was in diapers when that happened. I survived all of that stuff.
You remember why? You talking about the Y2K thing? They be like, "What's
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
What's Y2K?" Yeah, Y2K. They thought the whole world was going to end in 1999.
yeah. In 2001, you had the dot-com bubble. And they
You know,
realized that there was no money being made from a lot of these websites. So it was just like crypto and NFTs. It was the same type of bubble crash where when they started looking at the numbers, it wasn't making sense. So then it crashed. And that whole year was screwed up in 2001. So what made it come back was after 9/11, President Bush lowered the rates, and that spurred economic activity. And then he also took away some restrictions with mortgages. It was a gift and a curse. It took away some restrictions, but then at the same time, people got loosey goosey with it, just like COVID. When they took away restrictions, people got loosey goosey, and then it crashes.
and that's why I tell people it's so important to, if you don't understand history, you're doomed to repeat it. And
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons why, like you said, you pivoted in the real estate game and the mortgage game. I actually dove deeper. I remember spending my last little bit of money to join what's called now the mastermind. Like everybody's big on this mastermind thing. But in 2007, we didn't really have these masterminds like they have them now. But I spent my last little bit of money, going to learn this system called LEAP, which is in the insurance and financial services industry. It's called the Lifetime Economic Acceleration Process. And I remember spending my last little bit of money to get involved with these groups. And one of the things when I went to the meetings, man, I was learning how these rich and wealthy advisors and the advisors that was advising their clients, they were pimping life insurance out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting there, first of all, like, okay, is this the game that's really going on?
Yeah.
And one of the lessons that I learned from there was the guy said, one of the things you're gonna learn when you get in this business is that rich people hate paying taxes.
Mm-hmm.
They hate paying taxes. They want to pay their fair share of taxes, but
No more.
they don't want to overpay. And they
Yeah.
will do anything and everything to leverage the tax code to not pay additional taxes. They get the best CPAs. They get CPAs who understand, that have specializations in taxation, because they want to know where all the incentives are in the tax code. And I was sitting there like, wow, I never heard that before. This was back in 2007. It was and it was like akin to, if you make it and you can't keep it, did you really make it? So they
Right.
wanted to be in position and control of their money to never pay taxes again. And then the second thing he said, that's why they love life insurance,
Mm-hmm.
because life insurance is not what it is what it does. And I was like, okay, I was peeping game. And I'm like, so what does it do? I'm like, I want to play dumb so I can get the answers that I need, right? I said, so what does it do? And he says it allows them to put money into an account that they can leverage and use strategies that they can never pay taxes on any of that money in those accounts while it's growing. And they have access to the money at any time for any reason. And I was like, yo, I need to bring this messages back to communities that look like me,
Right.
because the only thing that my folks know about when it comes to life insurance is, oh, you got to die to get it. And I'm sitting over here at these meetings, and even to this day, when I go to the meetings and they talk about leveraging these strategies to keep more money in their control and pay less money on taxes on it, it's amazing to me the things that you can do with proper tax planning with life insurance, and how you can leverage life insurance to buy assets and pick up additional tax benefits. And even to this day, like that's where like the pivot now is to get this information out so when people understand what's going on, they will know what to do. It's not about how much money you make, it's about how much money you're allowed to keep, how much
Yeah.
money you're allowed to enjoy, and how much money you're allowed to pass on to the next generation. And those are three lessons that I think are missing big time in the Black communities. And I'm trying to do something about it. But I digress. This
No,
ain't
but
about me.
that's important what you're doing, because I know for a fact that a lot of people don't understand how to use it. And you really got to talk to them like a child on how to use it. Just like when I talk to people about mortgages, credit, everything like that, we just don't know. And a lot of us don't even say we don't know. Even professional people, you really got to hold them like a child and say, this is what you do. This is the policy. This is what you put into it. This when you take it out, this is what you do. You can't even take it for granted no more. With all this information we got going on that people could access, we are here as our legacy to take them by the hand and walk them through bit by bit by bit. I got to do this every day with people with their credit reports in terms of how they could understand their credit, how they could leverage their credit to buy property, start a business. I have to use it in terms of what mortgages to get, what documents to get, how to set up their business, how to get financing. I have to walk them like a child because they don't know. And a lot of times we don't like to say, I don't know, for a reason. I don't know if our people feel like we don't want to look dumb. It's a weakness, but they really don't know. Like myself, I really don't know the insurance game. I'm going to learn more from you. I know, but not enough. But you're the inside guy to show me this is what you need to do because I got access to properties. I got access to land. So now people that have these policies could draw for 100,000 to buy land, or they could buy a property. And like I said, it's all tax free. It's just like when I tell someone, hey, when you buy a property or cash, like I told it to some crypto guys, right? When you buy a property or cash for, I'm saying 100,000, right? It's all cash. But you go back and refinance it, pull out 70% of the money, say 70 grand. Now that's not tax. This, it's untaxable because that's a loan that you took out.
Mhm.
So now when you sell it for 100,000, you're only gonna pay back 30 grand. You're gonna pay it back, but you're gonna get taxed on the 30,000 that you didn't take out on the loan. As opposed to if you sold it without taking out a loan, you're getting taxed on the whole 100,000. You feel me on that?
I
So
do.
it's thing that I tell people how to leverage the equity. If you got a brownstone that you only owe $200,000, but it's worth $1 million, why not pull out some of the money in a home equity line of credit, another loan, whatever. And then when you sell it, you don't got to pay as much in capital gains because you took out a lot of it already. Because that's what saved me also. When I was flipping properties, I immediately would refinance, pull some money out. So when I sold it, I didn't have to pay as much taxes because I already pulled it out as a loan. So basically, when I sell it, I'm paying off a loan, but I already got the cash.
The only thing
So,
that you missing, the only thing that you missing is the permission slip.
mhm,
And the permission slip is the life insurance.
yeah,
Because if anything goes awry, you got a partner with you to say if anything goes bad with this home equity line of credit, I got some money in the cash policy over here that I could cover it.
mm,
Okay,
right,
and if you have an untimely death, oh, don't even worry about it. I got it. I'm gonna pay it all off.
right,
See, that's the permission slip that many real estate investors are missing out on. And
yeah,
also, and also, just to give a little game, right? We build policies and show real estate investors how they can get rid of their hard money lender,
yeah.
how they can become their own hard money lender. But that's another conversation. We ain't talking about me. We talking about you. I want to get back to like,
But that's gonna be
you
another
know,
show.
that's gonna be another show when we talk about some real estate, life insurance, money strategies. Because you guys are missing out. You guys are missing out on so much uninterrupted compound interest that you could be earning for life, but you're not because you don't have the permission to go out to leverage the real estate the right way
Right.
where it won't hurt you.
And
Okay.
also,
So you
like,
got a whole lot of risk and you carrying a whole lot of risk in your portfolio because you don't have the permission slip.
Yeah, and one other thing that you said, people want to learn to be their own lender. People want to be their own hard money lender to borrow against themselves to buy properties and businesses because we buy and sell businesses with my company. So a lot of times there's an opportunity where you could pick up a hookah lounge. We talked about that earlier before the show. Uh, um, a cash-driven business, a home healthcare company, a food truck, whatever. That you could find somebody distressed, just like real estate. And that's how I rebranded. We'll get to that in a minute. How I rebranded then only I got into distressed properties, I got into distressed businesses where if somebody is losing the business for whatever reason, someone could go in there, leverage it, and buy the business. And like you said, the vehicle that you have is something that they could do to be their own lender. So you don't got to go to the bank because you might miss an opportunity. You might not have your taxes done. Your credit score might not be enough. Opportunities come and go. You got to be ready at that moment. If someone said, "Hey, my mama died, left me this property, and my uncle died, left me a food truck. Can you cut me a check right now?" You want to be able to
Yep.
cut that check right now, figure it out later on when it's a good deal because they're going to go to somebody else, especially with this day of internet. They'll put up on Facebook Marketplace and someone else will go buy it, whatever. So you got to be able to jump on stuff. And I'm going to talk about some of that in a minute. Opportunities that popped up over time after the market crash.
One of my boys always like to say, "Success loves speed."
Mm-hmm.
So that's true. So you on Money Mondays with Jeff. We talk to dope financial professionals and business owners on wealth building strategies that we can use to close the wealth gap. We're talking to Carl Agard, the money expert, and he is very well versed in mortgages and real estate properties and investing. He was the youngest, one of the youngest brokers in Brooklyn history at 27, being a broker, and he's helped thousands of homeowners, build, buy houses and refinance mortgages and everything in between. So, Carl, I want you just to take a moment out and just get back to the real estate and the homeowners that you were working with. Can you tell us a story that was very profound and impactful for one of the customers that you helped?
Yeah, one that I thought about, and it's a good segue to the next phase of life. So after the real estate market crashed, like I said, I filed bankruptcy, regroup. Um, by this time, already 10 years in, I didn't want to do residential real estate and mortgages as much as I did in the past. I want to look into some other opportunities. So then the politicians, like I said, that backed me. I went back to Brooklyn. You got to go home sometimes just to get yourself rebuilt. Um, went back to
You got
Brooklyn.
that right.
A lot of people was losing their homes at that time because now we're in '09, 2010 after the real estate market crash. So they said, "Hey, we got all these constituents losing their homes." So I started a company doing loss mitigation. Loss mitigation is when you go in there and negotiate with the banks to do loan modifications so they could keep the house. And then if they don't, you go back and sell it as a short sale. So they had the Make a Home Affordable Act that President Obama enacted. I had a direct pipeline to constituents in Bedford-Stuyvesant, Clinton Hills, whatever. They didn't do it as much in Atlanta because it was a non-judicial state. So a lot of people was 3 months behind on mortgage. They just took the house. But New York, we are able to go to the court. We knew a
Did you
lot
do
of
anything? Excuse, I didn't want to interrupt real quick, but
yes.
did you do anything with mortgage notes at that time?
I try to do stuff selling notes,
Okay,
more as a focus with the short sales.
okay, okay,
Yeah, so that was more of my forte at that time.
okay.
Because I was dealing more with the homeowners, which was easier for me at that time. Because sometimes, once again, you got to pick your niche and stick with it and master it. So I found out at that time, hey, there's a lot of people that need their houses restructured. I go in and negotiate with the bank. I'm getting paid. Um, if they can't afford it, we'll sell their house. Now I can't buy at the time because I don't lost all my money. My credit shot at the time, but I got access to houses. So I had investors that were coming in buy the house as a short sale. So then the prices was dropping at the time. So people that bought a brownstone for 500,000 is now $300,000. But hey, it's a good deal. It will go back up. And I'm telling people, hey, there's a little arena getting built in Brooklyn. You better jump on this now because when that arena go up, I don't know what's gonna happen. That little arena was a Barclay Arena.
Mm.
We'll get that in a minute. So now, 2010, 11, we're doing a lot of loss mitigation. And then at the time, they're also starting a product for small business owners because no banks was lending. So a lot of the residential mortgage companies was like, hey, we're not doing residential. We're getting into the commercial space because it's now regulated now. A lot of
Okay.
liability. A lot of people went to
Okay.
jail, got shut down. So a lot of people started going into the commercial space. So they started the product that I got in ground level, which was a merchant cash advance at the same time, where you could get a loan, pay it back on a weekly basis, a bridge loan. So it was like hard money loans for small businesses. So a lot of lenders came to me and say, hey, because remember now, I knew how to leverage lenders. Hey, my niche is Black professionals, Black business owners, whatever. So they came to me, hey, we got this product. You do it as a broker. So I put that in this new company that I formed after I saw my real estate companies, Applied Service Group, which was one half was doing loss mitigation and distressed properties, other half was doing financing for business owners and selling distressed businesses. So then that's what I did from 2009, 10, all the way up till COVID and past COVID. So it was all about the rebranding. So while a lot of real estate professionals was like, oh, I don't know what to do, they was depressed, they didn't know what to do, whatever. I just rebranded. I looked at it, look, I'm from the projects. I ain't supposed to have none any goddamn way. I'ma just rebrand, start a whole other business, and start from scratch. I wasn't supposed to have all this any goddamn way. Damn the mansions in 3 cars. I just start all over again. And
Yo,
what you
that's funny that it's funny that you say that because I grew up in North Philly and I remember my fifth grade teacher, Mr. Metlitz, he used to always say, "You don't know nothing and you ain't never gonna be nothing," and that was the craziest thing to hear from a teacher, right? So, fast forward when I graduated from Penn State, right, and I went back to my elementary school because I wanted to show Mr. Metlitz my degree, right? Because he said that I was never going to be nothing, right?
Mm,
And I was disappointed because I missed him by 1 year. He
mm,
retired 1 year before I graduated. But I tell you all of that to say, I remember having a conversation with my dad, and my dad sat and told me, one day we were talking. He said, "Son, you're playing with house money because
mm,
they wrote you off a long time ago. You come from the inner city. You're not supposed to be anything. They tell you this, they tell you that. They limit your opportunities. You still made it." So he's
mm,
like, go out there and take your street knowledge that you know and your street skills and mix it and mesh it with your book skills and go help the people.
right.
Go help the people. And now I remember that like it was like yesterday. And that's one of the passions that I get now. It's not like I'm playing with house money anymore. It's like I'm taking what I learned from the streets and I'm learning from with the books and I'm going out here to help the people. So I got a
Right.
different spin on it. I'm sorry, I interrupt you. I digress. Back to you.
Nah, well, even though you interrupt me, it's so relevant to what we're talking about because it's on the same path. And really, it's about when you have something bad happen with knowledge you take out of it to move on. Because 90% of people wallow in it and talk about what they would have, could have done and why this had to happen and what was me. And me, I just was like, hey, let me take my knowledge of what I got from before, my connections, see what is going in the next direction and go in that direction, because I said real estate ain't is not going to be what it was before.
Got
And
that
I'm
right.
glad. I was like, hey, you know what? At least I could say I got in ground level, rode the wave as far as I could ride, and when it went off, I got a lot accomplished. So I never felt cheated. So I felt for me, looking back on retrospect, because at the time you're in it, I wasn't as happy as I am now. Because of course, you're like, damn, well, I lost this thing. My wife is kicking my ass. I'm about to go through a divorce. I done lost everything. But when you look back at it, you do look at it and say, hey, you know what? God closed the door, opens up another one. Like Dawn Staley said yesterday when she won about doors
Right.
opening and you gotta be able to receive it and take
Right.
it and get and take what you got and then move on. So that's what I did. I said, look, I have this knowledge at the end of the day. It can't take that from me. You can take my houses and my cars. Like Jody said, you take my money, my house, and my cars, but you can't take my knowledge. You can't take my experience. And you can't take my connections. So I leveraged that to start doing the merchant cash advance, start doing loss mitigation. I rode that wave again from beginning to end. So a story that's good to answer that question was, now doing loss mitigation, I'm now saving hundreds of people from losing their homes. And not only I'm saving people that I got houses from the 90s on, now I'm saving a whole new set of people that's losing their houses because of the market crash. They lost their equity overnight. So I remember one guy got referred to me. It was a family. They had a Jamaican restaurant in Queens, so I did their loans for their restaurant. Plus, I saved their houses from foreclosure. So they said, "Help this guy. He's a correction officer. He's losing his house. The bank is giving him a hard time, and whatever, whatever." So I go in there. I talk to his bank. I could go to the courts and, request a settlement conference with the judge. I know the judges, everything like that. They went in there, restructured his loan, reinstated him. His payment was half of what he was paying before. And I said, hey, listen, here's the game plan. You pay this on time for 2 years. I could come back and refinance the house because I know in a couple of years, the price is going to go back up because the economy is turning around. Because now we get into that 2014, 2015 now. Things are now in the upswing. The Barclay Arena opened up in Brooklyn. Houses skyrocketed. People from Manhattan is going to Brooklyn. People who houses went from 600, 300,000, now it's $800,000. People that said, damn, I should have listened to you, was crying.
I bet they were.
Because I told them, hey, I know for a fact price is going to go up. So the investors, and sad thing was the Jewish investors was buying houses from me. They benefited from it because they was buying these houses from short sales, $300,000. These houses now worth $1 million. And they probably leverage some of your taxes, whether it's the diamond money, cash money, or insurance money. They leverage it to buy properties. So now going back to this guy, so now I saved his house from foreclosure, refinanced the house. He was able to pull out some money, renovate his house, do a new roof. He said, man, next thing coming from Atlanta, come by. Me and my family gonna make you breakfast. I go by his house. We sit down for breakfast. He was crying tears in his eyes. He said, man, I really appreciate what you did for me, man. And this is a correction officer where he was in control of death row, or no, he was in control of the inmates that are cop killers. This guy Buddha, he was a known guy. Anytime I got some issue, I would drop his name. Hey man, my guy Buddha got my back. So it's a guy, man, strong guy, Jamaican guy, crying tears. He was like, man, you save my house, man. I could look at my family face and say, I'm a man again. And I didn't realize how deep that was, because he said, man,
Right.
that bank was about to take my house. I never forgot. You got me on a conference call with the bank and you told them what to do, how to do it, and how it's going to get done. You went to the court and told the judge how it needed to get done. And they said, yes, Mr. Agard. And they gave me half a payment. And I was able to afford it, turn around, and here I am. I fixed my roof. And then he's crying tears. And that's how I realized it was a profound effect that you're really out here helping people and building a legacy. And now he's in Charlotte. He
Oh,
retired.
let's give it up. That's a clappable offense right there, man. Let's give
Yeah,
that up.
yeah.
That's what's up.
So when I saw that question from you earlier, that was the first one that came to mind. I said, this is a good one to tell.
That's what's up. That's really good. I was looking over your bio, and one of the things that I saw in your bio is that you do a lot of public speaking, right? So I
Yeah.
was like, wow. So that's one of the things that I would like to get it to like to do more public speaking and talk more about leveraging life insurance for income replacement and and asset acquisition. And one of the things that that excites me about it is that you can always pinpoint points that you want your audience to take away and be memorable from your speech, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna flip this question over to you. Like, when you're doing your public speaking, what is some of the memorable things about your journey, about your opportunities, about the things that you've done in real estate, the things that you've done in mortgage financing, the things that you've done in alternative lending? I'm going to just call it that, with a lot of the
Right.
other things, alternative lending. When you're doing your public speeches, what do you want the audience to walk away with?
The main thing, and that's a good question. The main thing when I do public speaking, whether it's a Zoom in person, whatever, church group, and I've been doing it for a long time, even before this internet age with YouTube and TikTok and everything, where you had to get information from me coming and talking to you. But one thing I always tell people is that it's not an overnight thing. I remember my first set of books that I wrote, and I was once again, another groundbreaking thing that I did was I was one of the first African American wealth builders that had a series of books at that time. So this is 05, 06, 07. I had a real estate book, a book on starting a business, and a book on credit. Nobody black at that time had that at that time, and they really need to give me my roses. So not only was I the first independent black real estate broker in Brooklyn in 98 and 05 and 06, I was one of the first writers about financial literacy, where I had to compete with street lit books and compete with romance books and sex books and everything like that. And people didn't even know. And people would say, well, who are you to be writing books on real estate and everything like that? Because, you didn't have the internet I could drive up in a Bentley and all that other stuff. No, it's mano y mano. I'm at book fairs like, hey, buy my book. And they're like, you're not Carlton Sheets. Remember Carlton Sheets? And you don't have an 800 infomercial at night. But I'm like, I got knowledge. So when I did speaking at that time, and even until now, even speaking to young adults, I tell people it's not an overnight success. It's not like you see on the internet. Too many people see stuff on the internet and social media, and they just say, hey, I want to do this, live your lifestyle. As soon as they get hit like a baseball bat, they want to quit. And I'm like, it wasn't easy. Okay, y'all don't know what happened from 94 to 97. 94 to 97, I was catching hell. I'm in Bridgeport, Connecticut, trying to flip houses. I'm doing crack houses in East New York. I had real estate people beat me for money. Mortgage company beat me for money. Deals fall apart at the closing. When I became a broker, they cutting my commission at the closing just because I'm younger than them. They put stuff in escrow. You name it. But I was resilient. You overcoming everything. And whenever I talk to new investors, new business owners, new real estate agents, people want to learn. The common thing I tell them is that it's not overnight. You gotta give it a good 6 months at least. At least
6 months.
Yeah.
Warren Buffett said it takes you 10 years to become an overnight sensation.
Yeah, and I'm saying 6 months at least. Crying out loud, people don't give it 6 days. Jeff,
you gotta give it way more than 6 months.
Do you get you got agents under your organization?
I'm building them now.
You'll see. They don't give it 6 days.
I already know. I already know. I've seen it. I've watched it in other agencies, and that's why I waited so many years until now to kind of to start my agency building, because it takes a very special tenacity to be able to manage other people and to keep them motivated to do what they said that they enjoy doing. Mm-hmm. So I've had to build that tenacity on that side, and now I'm ready to go head forward with it now. Because one of the biggest lessons that I've learned in life and in business is that oftentimes is not what happens to you that matters, because things happen to everybody.
Right.
Okay. It's what you do about it.
Yeah.
Like when you have that big failure, what you going to do about it? When you have that big success, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah, the bounce back.
What's that?
I call it the bounce back.
The bounce back, the bounce back, I call it the seed protector. Mm-hmm. Because that's why it's so important to plant seeds, because a seed don't automatically just grow overnight. Well, at least not the seeds that we plant. I don't know. They got these genetically modified things now where they kind of grow an hour. I ain't talking about them kind of seeds.
Yeah.
But you like to have those seeds that when you plant them, your harvest comes at different entities and at different stages, because sometimes your harvest will come at a time when you are really not expecting to have the harvest, and that harvest helps to propel you and protect you and cover you while you're going through your trial and your tribulation. Everybody everybody has a trial and a tribulation. And it doesn't mean, has nothing to do with money, has nothing to do with success, has nothing to do with none of those things. So that's why I like to stay grounded where, when you have a setback. And I remember my pastor saying this a long time ago, and it stuck with me. And I remember Pastor Lamont McLean. When I was attending Living Faith Christian Center. He used to always say, when life gives you a setback, take a step back
Mm-hmm.
and get ready for your comeback. And
Mm-hmm.
so every time I went through a hard time, I'm like, oh, I gotta take a step back.
Yeah.
I'm getting back I'm in comeback season.
Yeah.
So
Gotcha.
and that's one of the things, like, because I tell people all the time, entrepreneurship is hard. I've been doing this for 26 years, and it's like riding a roller coaster. You have
Yeah.
many ups and downs, many changes, many things thrown at you. You get blindsided. You think that you got everything planned, and then you forget one little thing, and it almost takes you out. So that's why I say it's not about a lot of times what happens to you. What matters is what you do about it. I was listening to a podcast today on YouTube, and a guy by the name of Anthony O'Neill. I don't know if you follow him or not, but he's one of the guys that's in the money space, and he was telling a story about how he got for $40,000.
Mm.
How these people broke into how these scammers broke into his Facebook account, and
Well,
they hacked into his account, and they were able to get like personal and sense and information, and they build all this money up on his ad account on his Facebook. And at this time, they was building an account on his Facebook. They was applying to get credit in his name. Like, it was like one thing after the next, after the next, after the next, and the scam was like elaborate.
mm,
And I was just like, man, the average person would have just quit. They would have just like went home and cried and said, I'll let whatever the authorities handle it or anything of that nature. But he was very proactive in his approach to saving his money and saving his business, because the hackers was on him hard. And
mm,
more importantly, he gave steps that people should take so that they won't get hurt and get scammed like he did. And
mm.
I just thought that was like very powerful, in the sense that what we're talking about today about having tenacity and stuff, because some hard things happen, especially in the world of entrepreneurship, where there is no 15th and the 30th guarantee of a paycheck coming. So these are the things that they don't talk about, on social media university, where success grows overnight. Like, you become a millionaire overnight, and you don't have any problems, and nobody never talks about the hard things. And I was happy that he shared like his story about being scammed, because most people would have been embarrassed to
Yeah.
talk about what
Oh,
happened to them,
and,
and
and-
how they lost so much
yeah.
money.
And let me tell you, most of the people in the space of uh, YouTube seminars, whatever, they only tell people about the good stuff. I tell people about the bad stuff. That's why, like, my first book was titled "Getting the Real Out of Real Estate," because I did talk about my trials and tribulations as one of the youngest Black real estate broker, all the stuff I had to overcome, not even just racing, but stuff within our own community. And then another thing I talked
What were
about,
some of the things you had to overcome in your own community? Talk about that a little bit.
oh man, you had jealousies, tenants didn't want to pay you rent. I had tenants that was older than me. Remember, I'm 28 years old. I'm driving a Mercedes Jeep. I'm rolling custom suits. And if he was mad, they was like, damn, you younger than us, you think you all that. And he want to pay my rent on time. And back in the late 90s, early 2000s, model, ain't no cash app. Ain't no put a wire in my account. You had to go knock on the door and get that rent. So it's like mono. So the sad thing was, I had a Jewish guy named Shelly. He was my front man. Because I learned the game. One thing about me, I learned the game. I said, okay, I see how they doing me. I'm a guy named Shelly. Shelly was an older Jewish guy. But he's my guy. I would let him be my front man. He would go to closings for me, act like he was my boss. I'm the manager. I don't care. I want my money. I got tired of them taking $2,000-$3,000 out of my commission just because. So I just had Shelly go, and then he started collecting rents for me. So I would just tell people, hey, he the real owner. He just got back from Israel, goddamn California. And they go, oh, here's the money, Mr. Shelley. I said, goddamn, ain't that some own people? One give me rent. Now I go tell him, oh, he the real owner. They giving Shelly, they was giving Shelly the money early. But I said, hey,
So
that's
that's a mindset conversation for a different time.
a whole different day.
Because us black folks, we got to get over a whole lot of financial trauma that was bestowed upon us that we got to get over, because I think we keep falling back into those same money, I call them tricks,
Mm-hmm.
that really stop the movement of money in our communities. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of crazy that we've allowed ourselves to be at a point where we're making over $2 trillion in this economy after taxes, and our communities look the way that they look, and our businesses look the way that they look, and that we are funding, you know, other lifestyles for other people, while our lifestyles and our monies and our communities are on the decline. I just think that is like really, that's like really, we got to get over that financial trauma that will allow us to circulate less than 5% of the money that we're making in our economies, while other races are able to have their 100% spent in their community, plus the 95 to 97% that we give away in our communities. I just think that is a conversation that we as black folks need to start to have. Like, how can we
But,
recapture
but
some
Jeff,
of this money
we,
and
we,
get
we
rid of some of this
started,
self
but
hate?
when we gonna act on it? I mean, me and you, we're good. We try to tell people, but when are they gonna also take the action and stick to it? Once again, and go
Well,
back to
what I'm saying, I think a lot of us have to get over some financial traumas that a lot have endured, where it's a big trust issue, and a big hate issue when they see another person who looks like them doing well. Just because just because I'm doing well, don't mean that that's a reflection on you. You know what I mean? But a lot of times, a lot of black folks internalizes that. They look at you doing well as a symbol that now they got to throw some hate your way because you're doing too good. I remember living in the hood. Like, I was working at a local uh uh not a restaurant. It was like a corner store, and Mr. Johnny's had the corner store. Mr. Johnny's a black man. He gave me
it.
my first job when I was 5 years old. Okay, and one of the things that like shook me up as a kid was Mr. Johnny had a Cadillac, and the people would see him drive his Cadillac, and they would be mad, like, I ain't gonna go shop at his store, so that I ain't gonna say the word. So he
Yeah,
ain't gonna be taking my money, ain't gonna buy no Cadillac with. But then they let the Asian guy come in, and they shop at the Asian guy, and the Asian guy now driving a Lexus, or the Jewish guy now driving a Benz. But they hated on Mr. Johnny because
well,
Mr. Johnny had a Cadillac.
well,
I
Jeff,
never I never
Jeff,
really got I never really got that's why I said we got some self image issues that we have to overcome, because it really affects the money, and it really affects our ability to really create generational wealth, because there's too much black on black hate going on, especially when black folks are doing well. I remember, just quick story. I was watching Robert Smith, right? Robert Smith. He was at the Invest Fest last year, and he was speaking, right? And I was so happy. I was so happy that I got the opportunity to see another black billionaire. You just don't understand what that did for me internally, to make me to keep striving for my goals, because I saw a representation of what black wealth can become, or did become. And I didn't like, a lot of people was hating on Robert Smith, and I was looking at them like, why y'all hating on that man because of what he's accomplished? Like, I never really,
you
I
know,
never really, I never really got the gist of all of that. I really still don't get the gist of why, if you doing well, that means I gotta start hating on you because you doing well. I don't know where that mentality, I don't know where that mindset, that poverty mindset I don't know why that is so ingrained in a lot of black folks, and particularly I see it from a lot of black men as well, and I just don't get it. Where there's so many other forces that are competing to limit or take away a lot of the successes that you're fighting to make. For
Yeah,
me, for me, I think we need to start to have some really hard conversations on how we see each other as people and really start to figure out how we're going to support financially each other as we are navigating, this system that really doesn't love us all that well.
yeah. So let me say something, couple of things, right? So what you said about the guy with the Cadillac, that was basically me back then. So they was hating on me just because I had a Mercedes. Yeah, I'll never forget when I rolled up to get rented with my Mercedes Jeep and it was new off the lot. That's when he first came out in 1998. Yo, I was catching hell. I was like, oh man, I think I shouldn't have done that. Because soon as they saw me with that Jeep, they looking like, oh, my rent is helping him support his lifestyle. But hey, what about the hard work that I put in to go get these properties? While y'all partying and bullshitting, I'm buying properties. I'm fixing pipes. I'm doing this and the third. My property was top notch. It hurt me because I was like, damn, you think that you're proud that somebody from the neighborhood came back and bought properties and rented back to y'all, and it was even less than the market value. They showed me hate. So that was something telling right then, because it's like when they say something, they don't act a certain way. So I was like, wait, y'all saying this, that why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? I'm doing it, and y'all giving me hell. I'm hiring people. I'm a black real estate broker. I'm giving you a job because y'all working with you guys, but y'all stealing the rents. Y'all stealing deposits from people. Y'all scamming behind my back. You don't know how many almost indictments I got because of my workers doing that, because they took for granted the opportunities I gave them. And then another thing that was really profound. So let me go fast forward back when I was doing the merchant cash advance loans. So one time I'm in Dallas, right? I'm in Dallas and I'm doing loans for a group of Egyptian guys. They own delis, gas stations all around the Dallas area, right? They was trying to do a real estate deal with one of my cousins in Texas. My cousin bring me in on this meeting just so I could be his eyes and ears. They was giving him a shitty deal. So I'm like, nah, he ain't doing that deal. That don't make no sense. These Egyptian guys like, nah, well, who are you? Who are you? When I start breaking down the HUD, the closing documents, everything, they're like, oh shoot. Yeah, and I get a phone call and I'm banging on these guys. Cause I'm like, nah, you ain't doing my family. I ain't gonna sit by you. My people like, oh man, this ain't New York. You gotta come down. I said, I don't care. I don't let nobody in my circle get jerked. That ain't happening. So then phone calls, I get on my phone. Hold on, guys. I'm gonna take this call. I'm gonna come back and yell at y'all. So I'm on the phone with a bank negotiating a short sale for somebody. So they're telling me, yeah, we're gonna set the short sale. These are terms, this and the third. I hang up the phone, go back to yell. I said, wait. You know how to do short sales and loan mods? I said, yeah. I have a whole company that does that in New York. They said, can you do it anywhere? I said, yeah, I could do it anywhere in America. They said, yo, we got about 10 houses that we got problems with. Can you help us? So they went from trying to do a raggedy deal with one of my cousins. They hired me on the spot to help negotiate 10 of their homes, right? And then in the midst of it, they're like, damn, you do loans? I said, yeah, I do business loans. They said, we got all these delis and gas stations. I could do them loans too. So after they modify their houses, now I'm doing their loans. Now I go from staying in Dallas for about a month. Now I'm there for 6 months. You know what I'm saying? And I'm doing all their loans for all they delis, they gas stations. They got a mechanic spot. But going back to our people, that's how I learned how other cultures deal with each other in terms of business. So one of their guys in they circle, right? And how I got cool with them was one of my best friends. He's a New Paul, so he's Egyptian. So he calls me on the phone. I put him on the phone. They start talking that Arabic stuff, and after that, they're like, "Oh, he good. They tell my friend, that's my best friend. And we started the real estate business together back in the '90s. He was the contractor to rehab the houses. So he told me, "Egyptian, that's my brother. Take care of my brother down there." So after that, they took care of me, right? So long story short, I'm learning how to interact, right? So I'm doing a loan for one of the cousins. He owed taxes, And that was the only thing stopping him from closing a loan for his deli. He owed about $2,000-3,000 in taxes. They all go to the ATM machine and give him the money to pay his taxes. He could close. And they said, "That's our brother. That's our brother. He gonna succeed. He gonna succeed." And then he was gonna buy another deli, and they helped him buy another deli. And they all pulled their money to get money together. So I'm seeing this. I'm like, yo, we don't do that as a people. I've seen people in this situation like, yo, I gotta pay XYZ so I could do that. They said, "Damn, man, you out of luck. What's in it for
Well,
me?"
I'm not gonna quite say it that like that because there are some pockets. I've been exposed to some pockets of entrepreneurs who are doing collaborations and making money together. You know, I want to shout out Traffic Sales and Profit, the group with Lamar Tyler. I know
Yeah,
there
shout out.
are a plethora of entrepreneurs working together to change the narrative of what we're talking about right now. And I've had another opportunity to work um, with another group of black men called the Circle of CEOs, and they were another group of entrepreneur men working together to kind of like dispel this narrative that we're talking about right now. So there are some pockets that I've been exposed to, and I'm sure there's several more that I
People got
have not been
they gotta
exposed to.
they gotta find the pocket because once I saw that, right, and right after that I started dealing with some Korean groups, I started dealing with some Chinese groups, and I saw that that was innate within them to do that in their culture to help each other out. What I found out with ours, of course, we go to our family and friends first, right? Or the three family, friends, and frat. Sometimes that's not the best ones. We got to seek like-minded people that understand it, and then you go in that group. So after that, I was like, you know what? My family, friends, and frat brothers might not see it because either they're not like-minded like me, or they tried and failed and gave up, or they like the 9 to 5 job, they like the rat race. It is what it is. For a long time, I try to see, hey, I could do it, you could do it, but then I had learned that ain't for everybody. So I had to seek like-minded people to be like, hey, let me go with these like-minded people that's love me unconditionally, don't feel threatened, will give me information. We barter information. Like me and you were bartering information. I'm gonna ask you information about the insurance. You're gonna ask me information about real estate. We met at Traffic Sales and Profit. That's a great organization of like-minded people that could run stuff by. You know, they're in my magazine. I've been covering them for the last 2-3 years. You know, it's like-minded people that got the energy and the drive to work together. So what, and it's going back to like when we talk to people, we talk to groups, seminars, everything like that. It's basically telling people, one, it's not going to be an overnight success. You're going to have your ups and downs, your roller coaster rides, your obstacles. You got to learn how to deal with that. Two, you got to find your water. Find your tribe. Find the people that's going to give you information, barter information, run stuff by. You could cry tears, whatever. And when they cry tears, and not God, well, you woulda, coulda, shoulda done. They go like, nah. What are you gonna do now? We got that out the way. Now, what you gonna do? That's your tribe right there, and that's what I want to tell people listening to this, that you want to really get out there and see. And what I tell people when I do seminars, you know, for people whether they buying a home, starting a business, becoming a real estate agent, stuff like that, you gotta find your tribe and overcome your obstacles.
Jeff Moore here, Money Mondays, where we talk to dope financial professionals and business owners on wealth building strategies on how to close the wealth gap here in America. We're talking to Carl Agard, the money expert, breaking some things down in real estate, breaking some things down in financing, breaking some things down in non-traditional lending. I got a couple more questions for you. I'm not going to, I know I try to keep this thing down to an hour. I know we're a little bit over. Are we okay on time? We okay on time?
Yeah, we okay. We got about 15. Hey,
Okay,
but you're
good.
gonna have to keep bringing me back.
All right, no problem. That's not a problem at all. I got a two-part question, right? I want you to talk about a little bit first about what do you consider as being your personal biggest milestone that you've accomplished so far, and then the second part of that question was what advice would you give someone who want to start out and get into real estate or mortgage financing or non-traditional lending, like what advice would you give them as well?
Okay, so the first part, my biggest thing, like when I was younger, was like financially, like, yo, I'll make 1 million. Now I made 2 million. I got $7 million worth of real estate. But as I got older, now, like I said, I started in the game 25, 26, 27. Now I'm in my mid 50s. I'm in the game 25 years. So I've seen a lot, been through a lot, seen I seen stuff from ground level. I mean, I could just have a whole documentary of stuff that I've seen. You know what I'm saying? So I think now my biggest thing is a legacy, like where I sold hundreds and hundreds of houses where now it's good where people hit me up like, yo, remember that house you sold me in 99, 2000. I was kicking and screaming at the closing. I bought for 200,000. It's worth $1.5 million, or it's worth $1 million. Now I'm able to send my kids to college. I'm able to do that. I'm able to retire. And thanks to you, and thanks for cussing me out at the closing and locking the door, because you did tell me it's going to be the best decision I ever made. And I'll be happy if that house was worth $400,000 in 10 years, and now it's worth $1 million. So it's a legacy that when I drive through Brooklyn, and I go down the different streets and say, damn, I sold that house. I sold that house. You know what I'm saying? That was a crack house that now is a $2 million brownstone that we got back in the days. Going to New Jersey, going to the Bronx, going to Queens, seeing people retiring, and coming, to Atlanta. They coming to Charlotte. They going to Florida. And they saying, hey, if it wasn't for you, I'm able to retire. So now I'm of the legacy. People that said I've learned stuff. My old real estate agents that got brokerages up and down the East Coast that still call me as a big homie. I'm still they broker no matter what. You know what I mean? So I got real estate agents as brokers in Maryland, North Carolina, they in Florida, but they still look up to me as they broker that. They say, hey, even though I got 10, 20 real estate agents, I got this problem. What should I do to overcome it? You know what I'm saying? People pulling out millions of dollars and hundreds and thousands. If you count it all up, the aggregate of people building wealth, pulling out, starting their businesses, sending kids to college. That is to me now my biggest accomplishment in retrospect. Because like you said, God put you in places. So sometimes I look back, if I wasn't got into real estate, and like I said, that wasn't my goal growing up. If I didn't get in, what would have happened to all these people? Hundreds and hundreds of people. Second part of the question, like I said, to new people, agents and stuff like that. I said the first two parts, which is overcoming your obstacles and learning from them, because you're gonna have obstacles. In the first year, gonna be a lot, and every year is gonna be some. It's not gonna be easy. It's how you handle it. You gotta have that passion, because if you don't got that passion, if you just want to get in because it's get rich quick, you want to quit, because it's gonna be you're dealing with people, ups and downs in the market, competition. So if you don't have a passion, Jeff, you got a passion for what you do. I can see it when you talk. I got a passion for what I do. You know, I do it for $1. I do it for $100,000 because it's my passion. If you don't got a passion, you ain't gonna last. If you don't overcome obstacles and learn from, you're not gonna last. Find your tribe. Get yourself some mentorship. People that's gonna unconditionally show you what to do, what not to do, and y'all listen to them. You're not, they're gonna give you tough love. You might not like everything that they're saying, but you got to take their knowledge and apply it, and have gratitude for it, because I know I didn't have that. I had no one show me. I had to take my information. When someone showed it to me, I had to make sure I understood it, and I ain't gonna be no second go around. Ain't no call later.
I'm telling you, bro. I value mentorship so much right now. I had to learn so many hard lessons that I wish I had someone would have been there to be like, Jeff, you know, look at it this way, or consider this, or did you consider this? Or did you look at this way? I had nobody
Nobody, yeah,
there to kind of like to help me to navigate. And man, I tell you, I think I probably made every bad business decision that there is just because I didn't know what I didn't know. I wish I would have had someone to get some wisdom from. I probably would be a multi millionaire right now if I'd had a mentor back in 2005 and 2006 and 2007 that could have helped position me to navigate the financial crash that happened in 2008. I mean, mentorship is invaluable. And I think so many people concentrate on what it costs and how
right,
much money it costs to join a mastermind, or how much money it costs to be a mentor. And they don't look at the value of what the information that mentor, that coach brings to the table to help you to reach your goals faster. And mainly because they can help you to navigate so many pit holes and so many potholes that they went through. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I just want to encourage and a shout out to all of the mentors out there to keep going, and people, to solicit their information and get their wisdom from them, because it can help you to avoid a lot of painful mistakes financially.
Yeah, our
So
people are, hold on, let me say something. Our people really gotta value mentorship because, like I said, there's not a lot of us that have these success, and a lot of us don't even want to share the information. A lot of them either don't want to share the information because they worry about competition or they want to charge you a whole bunch of money. Like I tell some people that want to pick my brain, hey, just give me a couple of dollars or earn while you learn. I'll show you, put some deals together. The best way I could teach you, if you put a deal together, even if it fall apart, at least you learn, because I can't sit here and regurgitate everything I know because you're not going to retain everything. You're going to have to put some together, whether it's a real estate deal, a mortgage deal, or doing a business loan, fixing someone credit, even media, trying to do a media event, whatever. You got to have someone that had the knowledge and experience, because they'll say, don't do this and don't do that, because I didn't have that. Whatever someone showed me, I took it and I ran with it because I know they didn't want to really give it to me. They got no choice because they trying to get what I got. I'm telling you, Jeff, they want to get the best I so good, so bad back then and gentrify it. And I held on to it and leveraged it to get the knowledge I'm sharing right now, because I know they didn't want to give me that knowledge. And that's why I tell people, yo, if you call me and I give you knowledge and you don't take it for granted, you're an idiot, because it's nothing that I've not seen in the finance, real estate world. I've been doing stuff up and down the East Coast. It's not a lot of black people in the space of doing what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, just because I'm not on goddamn CNN and BET, some of us don't want all that exposure. I'm good the way it is. I'm good just doing my little books, and I'm good doing my magazine and all that. I've been there, done that. I'm good in my space. I don't want to be
come
like,
on, why don't you mention the books and the magazines, bro, so people
yeah,
would know, and tell them where they can find it.
okay. So my books is on my website. My nonprofit is the Agard Financial Foundation.org. The Agard Financial Foundation.org, right? So you got my real estate book. This is my latest one. I did it during COVID. I'm gonna do another one, Financially Surviving Inflation. That's coming up later this year, right? Then I did one, Financially Surviving COVID, about your credit. So I'm doing one called Financially Surviving Inflation, right? How to survive this economy, keeping your credit in line. Because everything begins and ends with your credit. That's a whole other conversation that Jeff got to have me come back. I haven't got touched on that, which is now everything got to
No,
be
we're
about,
going we're going to we're going to be, I don't want to interject right here.
yeah,
I ain't going to bring you back. I'm going to invite you onto the next summit that I'm going to have and put on, so you can give the whole credit game. Okay?
gotcha.
So, one of the things that I'm doing to bring good information into our communities is I'm going to be doing virtual summits and live conferences. And I did a virtual conference in this past December when I brought a host of financial professionals on, and they talked about strategies from taxation, building credit, understanding real estate, investing in stocks that pay dividends. So we talk about the gamut of everything, but the foundation of everything that we do is to teach them how to leverage the life insurance for income replacement, and then use the cash value to go and buy other assets like stocks, like real estate. So we bring all these professionals in to give them the understanding that as they build their cash value accounts, they can leverage that cash value to go and buy some other assets. And now they got money working in two different places at the same time. So we're going to make sure that we get you in on the next summit that we're going to have. I'll talk to you about that more offline. And also, we got a live conference coming up in Philly, April 19th and the 20th, at the Airport Marriott, where we're going to be bringing financial professionals in live. And we're going to be talking about all of the things that we talked about on this podcast here now. Not so much the alternative lending, but a lot of real estate, a lot of mindset, money mindset, overcoming financial trauma. We got some great speakers that's going to come and talk about the power of the black dollar. I'm looking forward to Angel Rich's presentation on the dynamics of money management in our Black communities, and we got some great speakers that's going to become. I'm really excited about one of the brothers that I've come to know over the years, who has a special program on how to home hack, how to take a home and get multiple streams of income out of that one property. So I'm very looking forward to hearing what Idris is going to talk about and his process, and him teaching his process to all of the attendees that's going to be attending the Cash Value Wealth Building Live Summit that's going to be in Philly, April the 19th and 20th. So I want to make sure that you guys go and get this information, because information changes situations. Like, you could get one financial nugget or one strategy that can change your whole financial game plan and put you really on a trajectory of getting more money back into your management, that you have control over it, so that you can use for enjoyment, that you can use to enhance your lifestyle. One of the things that I always say, and why I'm championing this movement, is because one thing I know about Black folks know how to make money. Making money ain't the issue. We've been learning how to make money since we came onto this country, since we were brought here by force, without our consent years ago. We know how to make money. We've mastered that process here in America. One of the things that I don't think that we mastered, or what I wanted to focus on when you talk about riches and the niches and all of that, one of the things I'm trying to build a community of folks to, all right, well, we know how you know how to make the money. Let us show you how to save it. Because Black folks got a horrendous savings rate. Okay. Right. Let us show you how to protect it. Because too many of us are losing money unknowingly and unnecessarily. So many of us get caught up in scams because, we just be dumb in some areas of keeping the money that we've already made. Right. Let us teach you how to grow the money strategically, where you got assets that's going to be making money for you at all times. Let us show you how to enjoy the money, because it's fun making money. Okay. And this is the lateral part of the pie that we're missing. Let us show you how to pass that money on to the next generation, so future generations can feel like what it's like to get an inheritance, like what it's like to get a head start. Think about that part, like you being the youngest in Brooklyn to have a real estate agency, and you got some money because somebody left some money for you, right, that you can build, develop, and expand it, and you ain't got to go beg in the banks to go get no money. Right. So you got a head start. Look how much more creative we can be as a people, because it was a pool of money that was available to back up some of those ideas. So this is the movement that we're trying to usher in. This is the mindset that we're trying to usher in. And this is what this Cash Value Wealth Builders movement is all about. And hopefully it's going to be one of those kind of things that, and where my heart is that 100 years from now, when I'm dead and gone, the movement will still be alive and thriving, because people understand how to leverage the most important product that you should have in your portfolio. And that is cash value life insurance, because it's not what it is what it does. And the track record and the history of it is that through every major financial collapse in America, since they've been taking and recording notes, since World War I, since World War II, when the stock market crashed in 29, the Korean War, Y2K, anything that you can name that happened bad in American history, life insurance was the only entity to make money throughout all those bad periods. So my question is like, look, this ain't rocket science. You need to have some of that in your portfolio. So that's the movement. Like, yo, hey, okay, you need to have some of this in your portfolio. And then let's us teach you how to wrap those strategies around it, that you can replace your lender. You don't have to worry about the hard money lender paying the 2 points, 12% interest rate,
with a
having to
balloon.
have the balloon payment at the end of 12
Yeah.
months. You ain't got to have that stress. Or better yet, you can replace the hard money lender and you become the hard money lender, lending your money to another real estate investor. But anyway, I digress again. I gotta stop digressing. See, you made me talk a whole lot more, Carl, than I am typically accustomed to talking on more money with Jeff, on Money
Hey,
Mondays with Jeff.
it felt
You
like,
know,
it felt
usually,
like my
usually
old
I'm
podcast.
quiet. You're like, I
Hey,
gotta ask
it was like
questions.
it was like one of my old podcasts I used to do, Real Money, Real Issues Radio. But one last thing, I got to get out of here. Hey, everyone support my magazine, Boston Sell Magazine. That's how I met Jeff, because I was covering the travel sales and profit. We got an interview online with Master P and Don Peoples, and it's also on my YouTube channel. BossXLTheMag.com. We got digital and print editions. We're going to be having his articles in there too. His articles up online also. So you got his articles. It's up online, and he's going to do some more also. I'm going to come back on his
Article for real estate investors.
right. It's all about
Boy,
bartering. It's bartering.
I tell you, it's a bomb article for real estate investors. Real estate investors better jump on that. We got to get you to come down. We got to get you to come down to cover the Cash Value Wealth Builders Conference, man.
Next one. Let me know in advance. I want to speak and I'm going to cover, take some pictures.
Come on down next month. Next week. We'll
I
talk
can't make
offline.
this one.
Okay.
Not this one, the next one. If you're doing the summer, I'll be up there, because I'll be up there in the summer because I do more real estate. And on top of that, my son, one last thing I'm going to go, legacy of real estate is I was able to put both my kids in college, Howard, cash. All right. So everyone follow me. Instagram.
Where can they reach you at?
Carl Agard _ the money expert. So it's like you're right here. Carl Agard _ the money expert. Support my mag, bossxlthemag.com. And then my man Jeff the Wealth Builder, his articles is up there on the site. I'll be back again. It was so many questions I didn't get to cover, because I knew this was gonna happen. I told Jeff, I said, yo, dude, you ain't gonna ask me 15 questions, man. We're gonna get through 5. We'll be here for 3 days. So I'll be back another day. But thanks again, my brother.
All right, love you, man.
All
And
right,
keep achievement, man. That's what we all
yo.
about. Yo. Have a good day.